You hear me? If you can, all right. So, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. Okay, so I want to thank everybody as people are coming in. I'll kick us off here. I want to thank everybody for joining us again today for October Roundtable, focused on women veterans and what we can do for women veterans in DC. So I'll make this short. I know we have some great presentations coming up. So let's gonna kick off a little bit about what MOVA is doing, and then hand it over to Tony, who will introduce our speakers. And our speakers begin. So right now we're still in a virtual capacity. We're using everything through phone or email. But we are doing appointments for our computer lab. If you call in to use your computer lab for unemployment or something like that, we will help you. We will assist with that process. And you can call it 202-724-5554. We will put all of our intake numbers into the chat box for you today. Some updates on how MOVA services have been going since March, since this all began. Our DVSO, Robert Pearson, who you will hear from later, has assisted over 200 veterans with their claims and resulting in a recurring benefit of $351,000 for our DC veterans. So that's excellent. That's exactly what we should be doing. Our PIO, Tony Williams, and intake manager, Carol McDowney, have enrolled over 500 DC vets into the Vets Rides and Pathways program, resulting in over 1,200 free rides and 8,500 waived and DMV fines. So we appreciate all their efforts and work there. And finally, our Director of Operations, Sherrod Wade, 11 business seminars over the last 2 months, and continues to expand MOVA's efforts to assist veteran entrepreneurs. I really want to thank everybody here has helped us. Our partnership is how we really act as a state-level VA for our 30,000 veterans and families. And for Veterans Day, we will be releasing MOVA video in conjunction with some static displays around DC. More to follow on that, along with an LGBTQ veteran roundtable on November 12th, which we'll also explain later today. So I really want to just welcome everybody to the table. I appreciate your time, appreciate you joining us, all the presenters, and I'll turn it over to Tony to kick us off.
Hey, how y'all doing? And welcome to the DC Women Veterans Roundtable. As I know we virtual supposed to be in person, but it's good to see everyone. And thank you for taking our time today. And to all our veterans, thank you for your continued sacrifices. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the ball rolling. We're gonna start off the program with Director Porter, who is from the Mayor's Office of Women's Policy Initiatives. And that's our sister agency that we continue to do things with on a quarterly, yearly, and daily basis, basically. But so I want to welcome you and say thank you for being here, and give MOWPI the floor.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited and so energized to be here. Of course, bringing greetings along with my amazing colleagues in the Mayor's Office on Veteran Affairs. We have a dynamic woman mayor, Mayor Muriel Bowser, who has really put forward a lot of investments and initiatives to support women. And I'm so excited to present and be here among the best of us, our veterans. And so, in other worlds and other capacities, we would actually be, perhaps at a table, being together and being able to interact with each other's energy, feeling each other's vibrations and being able to share gratitude for each other. So I know we're not in the same space, but just to frame this space and time, I want us to just take a moment, put our hands over our hearts, feel that heartbeat. That's the thing that we are all sharing right now. That's the thing that we're all fighting. Our mission critical is to maintain and to use that blood that's pumping in our veins to help and to support each other. So we can feel our own energy and the synergy of all of our energy together in this virtual room, and just express gratitude for each other for being in this space together. So thank you. And thank you for, for indulging me. I have a deck to share. Bear with me and all of the technology energy. Everybody just send good energy towards technology. We're going to just send good vibes to make sure that it works. Okay. Give me thumbs up if you can see the purple presentation. Great. Okay. All right. So thank you. Thank you. And thanks for the good energy. I can definitely feel the good energy. As Tony mentioned, my name is Jennifer Porter. I am the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office on Women's Policy and Initiatives. And I'm so excited, as you can tell, to be here today. Our office has the honor and the critical role of making sure that all women in the District of Columbia know about the resources and investments that your government is making on your behalf, and also making sure that your voice and your perspective, your needs, your concerns are amplified in the work that we're doing. Our work is supported by my amazing team, Ms. Joya Matthews, who serves as our Associate Director, and Ms. Alex Chambers, who serves as our Outreach Coordinator, who you all see year in and year out at our MOVA events, tabling and reaching out in the community. And she's just a rock star. And so just giving a shout out to Team MOWPI. And so we're the Mayor's Office on Women's Policy and Initiatives, but our acronym is MOWPI. You know, in government, we do the alphabet soup thing where we have all the acronyms. So I'm gonna go ahead and advance my slide. Again, needing a little of that good tech energy. If you guys can send it my way. Okay, great. So again, we're the Mayor's Office on Women's Policy and Initiatives, and I'm so happy, and thank you, Director Domingo, and your amazing team for highlighting the importance to share resources and also to highlight the importance of amplifying the voices of women veterans. Again, I share, you are the best of us. And on a personal note, as a daughter of 3 generations of veterans, several uncles, and 2 women in my family who are currently serving. I am just so excited that we have a city and have leadership that is prioritizing our veterans. So long, women have been at the front lines, and a lot of times, you know, there's discussion around where women having the opportunity to be at the front lines. We have literally been at the front lines of serving, whether it's serving families, supporting families that are deployed, serving in roles of support in many capacities. And so the fact that we're prioritizing women, I commend Director Domingo and your team for doing this. So as I stated a little bit earlier, we're the Mayor's Office on Women. We work in conjunction with the DC Commission for Women, which is our public board that advises all of our work. They are the eyes and the ears for the mayor as far as women's affairs, women's concerns, any trends that we see in the community. They are our eyes and ears. And I know that it is such a priority that the voices of the community are impacting all of our work. And that's part of the reason why I know Director Domingo's commitment to having these roundtables, to bringing our voices together and to making sure that we're able to voice those things. The office works, again, to improve the quality of life for women, making sure that those issues get to the mayor and that they're prioritized. So our mission, and I love the concept of mission. When we think about our servicemen and women, we know that particularly for women, when we show up in such an intersectional way. And so whether you are a woman who is a woman of color, who may be a woman with a disability, who may be a woman who has is a gender minority, or you may be an immigrant. There's so many different dualities and pluralities that we show up with. And so there are so many things that we come to the table with, not only as needs, but also as assets. And so there are a couple of things that unify all of us. And those are the things that MOWPI really tries to address. And while we address those things, we also make sure that those critical things that may not necessarily be experiences of all of us, but are things that we as a society need to support women, we do that. And so here's just a highlight. We work to make sure that we enhance and improve the health and the quality of women and their families in the district. And we know now, as we're experiencing the public health emergency, that health truly is a public health issue. And, as we're working together, we know that our health, whether it is our sexual health as women and maternal health, whether it is our environment and the work that we're doing to make sure that our kids and generations to come grow up in a healthy environment, those are things that we want to make sure that women have a seat at the table in the decisions. Fostering economic opportunities. So many women, particularly women veterans in the District of Columbia, are business owners or just have an entrepreneurial spirit. I know I don't know by personal experience, but I know the women veterans that I have experienced in my personal space and in my personal life, each of them are so entrepreneurial or have the entrepreneurial spirit. They can get anything done. And so making sure that we're amplifying opportunities for not only for entrepreneurship, but for career development, making sure that there are opportunities for pay equity and so many important things like job skills, resume support, which are things that that women need to enhance women and girls in civic life and to share opportunities for civic service. This is one of the things that I think is truly the heart of our work, and it's something that we know that when we empower women, we empower the entire community. And so the way that we do that is making sure that our work is informed by women. It's funny because our mayor is actually, many of you know that our mayor is a mother. And there was posted this wonderful article about her experience as a mom and how some of the residents noticed that the sidewalks improved since the mayor became a mother. And she shared quite funny in her interview that as a mom, walking with her daughter and pushing her in the stroller, she noticed that there was a need to improve some of our sidewalks. And as women and as residents, we bring our lived experience to our work. And it's so important that we have a diversity of voices to our work so that we can notice things that you may not notice not living the lived experience that I live and that I may not notice not living the experience that you live. And so we know that as veterans, you all have a particular and unique lived experience, which again can bring unique challenges and opportunities, but also unique assets to our work. So I believe this as our civic engagement pillar for women is one of our most critical things that we do, and I'll go into a little more detail. And lastly, to empower communities and organizations to advocate for policy. So we're unique in that we are a policy office. And so we know that through community collaboration, through public and nonprofit partnership, we can do a lot of great good in our community. But for some issues, we hit a glass ceiling. And that glass ceiling is because we need to change the system. One of the great examples that our mayor led in 2017 was repealing the tax. We affectionately call it the pink tax, but that was a tax on menstrual hygiene products. They were actually coded by the tax code as a luxury item. And any woman or supporter of woman knows that those items are not a luxury. They are truly a health essential. And so removing that tax was something that, again, having women in leadership is something, bring your lived experience, but sometimes your lived experience has to inform and change the system. So literally changing our tax code and also putting the investment in the city budget to make sure that there were no deficits, which means that making an investment for women and for families. And then last year, Mayor Bowser had the privilege of extending that tax to families to repeal the tax on diapers. And as a new mom, I know now how expensive diapers can be. So even small investments like that take policy, that take coordination with our city council and our other government branches are something that's so important for women to prioritize. Okay, and this is just a list of those pillars that I shared in detail earlier, but health and wellness, economic empowerment, and civic engagement. I spoke a little bit earlier about the fact that while we have these things that bring us together and that all of us, whether you're a woman or not, they're just concerns and issues that unite us and that we all want to prioritize. There's some issues that may be unique to your lived experience that Mayor Bowser truly believes that government plays a role in supporting and making sure that there are public resources to help to support everyone who may be at a low moment. And so some of those priority issues include domestic violence awareness. And we've been talking a lot about the double pandemics that are going on, the pandemic with COVID-19 and our racial reckoning. But many women across our country know that there are other epidemics that are plaguing our communities, and violence, sexual violence and domestic violence is truly an epidemic that just like our pandemic that we're experiencing, the public health response, which is being informed, being aware, prevention, all of those things play into domestic violence awareness and prevention. And so we play a role in making sure that women know about the public resources, know about our hotlines, and also we play our role. Just recently, our DC Commission for Women came together. And, we're in this COVID posture, but we wanted to do something to support women. And so we created self-care kits, which include essential oils, toiletries, reading materials, writing books, just to support women who are survivors of domestic violence during this time where isolation really can be, it can be re-traumatizing, honestly. Homelessness, and honestly, homelessness is such a huge issue for women in DC, and for a lot of women, that first issue, domestic violence, is actually a precursor to homelessness. And so, making sure that we're working on both ends, right, to help support women. And so, also, breast cancer awareness is another epidemic that disproportionately affects women of color in our city. Is something that, again, we need to continue to highlight, continue to bring resources and action and effort to support. Maternal health, which is another really important issue for women, something that we work tirelessly with a lot of community partners and also our government agency partners. We have a monthly web series called Maternal Mondays, where we share and highlight government agencies. We highlight nonprofits that are doing amazing work. We have nonprofits that are donating diapers, nonprofits that are educating young moms. And so we want to make sure, again, that we're amplifying those resources to women and that we can be sort of a one-stop shop. And lastly, pay equity for women. So we know that when it comes to the economic empowerment for women, being able to advocate for and get equal pay, to be on an equal playing field, completely changes the trajectory of women. It impacts when they're able to purchase homes, when they're able to retire, and so many life decisions. And so pay equity is definitely a priority of the mayor. And it's something that we're proud to partner with several nonprofit organizations to provide resources to help women with the tools to negotiate higher salaries, to negotiate their starting salaries, which will completely impact the trajectory of their careers. So really quickly, those are some of our priority issues. The pillar that I want to highlight and leave you all with is our women's civic engagement initiatives. Because again, I truly feel that this is the heart of our work, making sure that we're connecting women to resources. But it's almost like, the parable of feeding a fish and teaching a man or a woman how to fish. We want to make sure that women's voices are at every table, every seat of government, so that when we have, when we're at places, for example, like where we are now with COVID-19, we're in a place where we've never been. We, as government leaders, we are having to make decisions that we've never made. No one in our generation has ever experienced a pandemic. And so we need, at this time, leaders are being born, innovation is happening, and so many new ideas and new decisions, because again, we've never been here. So it's so important at this time that we have women veterans at the table that are helping us to see things and to see the decisions in ways that reflect everyone. We're having to pivot very quickly to respond to literally, saving lives. And so it's so important that we engage women. And I'm going to highlight really quickly some of our efforts to engage women. Women on board. We work tirelessly with our Mayor's Office on Talent and Appointment. Many of you all who sit on some of the boards and commissions have interacted with MOVA, another acronym for the Mayor's Office on Talent and Appointments. But we work with them to make sure that women are reflected on all of our boards. We have almost 150 boards. And whether it's whatever your interest, whether it's animals, whether it's the environment, whether it's health, there's so many boards that all support and advise the work of each of our government agencies. So we want to make sure that there are women on each of those boards and that it is reflected proportionally to women leading. we have our Be the Movement Policy Bootcamp, which we're really excited about. Be the Movement is our effort to make sure that women have, that demystifies government for women. So whether it's you want to run for office, everybody doesn't want to run for office. Some people just want to learn how to make their voices known. And so a lot of times when you think about testifying on a bill that, or a piece of legislation that you may feel very passionately about, sometimes it can be overwhelming. And trust me, I've been there. So we help walk through and give tips and guide women on how to do that, how to find sources for data to help support your position or to help inform your position, helping women to understand other opportunities to make their voices. You don't always have to testify, with your hand up. You can write a letter. And, a lot of folks just don't know about those opportunities. So again, it's demystifying those opportunities to make the voices of women in government. We had a great push this year for census, which is one of our biggest opportunities to make sure that women are represented every 10 years. And only every 10 years, we have the opportunity to capture a snapshot of our community. And it's so important, again, that women as leaders encourage people to fill out the census, but also that women are counted. And we also have an opportunity for legislative days. If you are part of a women's group or an organization that is looking to share the importance of policy or your policy priorities to the legislature, the Women's Office will host you at the Wilson Building. We'll come and we'll speak with your organization and hear your concerns. And we have policy partner engagement. So if you have a women's organization or a women's group that you would like MOWPI to come and share some of these opportunities, teaching women how to serve on boards, teaching women how to learn about opportunities to be more engaged and involved in government, we definitely can join you as a policy partner and make sure, one, that you're aware of all the things that are going on, and two, that and that you are joining us in elevating the voice of women. So this is just a snapshot of some of the programs that I talked about, and I'll go briefly. This is actually one thing Director Tumingo and all of the MOCA agencies, and there I go again with the alphabet soup. The Mayor's Office on Community Affairs is the cluster that all of our offices sit under. This is another opportunity for women to make their voices in government. The mayor is truly invested in making sure that the budget reflects all the needs of our residents, and being able to share your priorities and the things that are important to you in the budget. So we work really tirelessly every year to make sure that we have budget engagement where we engage women in the community to come and share with the mayor their priorities. I think for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through the COVID responsibilities. If there are questions, I can answer them. But for the sake of time, just know that there are several priorities that the mayor has highlighted for us in our COVID response. And I know that, again, as our veteran community, the best of us, you all are the best and brightest. You are the innovators. Again, we're at a place we've never been. And this is where the leaders step in and help to guide us through. So there are tons of opportunities for you all to be engaged as we are in a mission critical phase. There are opportunities to share grants and resources. There are opportunities for you to be informed. There are check-ins, there are town halls. The mayor is really working to engage folks, and we want to make sure that women, and particular women veterans, are at the table as well, helping to guide us through. So there are newsletters, and I know that MOVA does a great job of engaging the veteran community. And so we just want to encourage that, and to let you know that there are resources. There are grocery distribution, food distribution. There are resources for mental health for our community during this tough time. So with that, I'm going to leave you with my contact information, and I know we have time for questions, but we look forward to continuing to share resources and to amplify the voices of women in government. We thank you for this time. And again, as we share our public service and our leadership, we know that we come here and we stand with you all and we represent you all. So we want you to continue to share your concerns. And also when we're doing good, that helps us too. Let us know how we're doing. So thank you so much. And I'll yield back to Tony.
Thank you so much, Director Porter and MOPI. I appreciate that. Very informative on some things that I didn't even know about. So, the information that Director Porter has put in, we can get the information sent to you guys after the roundtable as well. We have Ms. Deshana Barbara from Swan Service Women Action Network.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Tony, for the introduction. Thank you, Jennifer, for all that information. Definitely going to have to reach out to you. You have some awesome things that you're able to offer. Sorry, my video is not on. Can you all see me? There we go. Okay. I am the CEO of Service Women's Action Network. I became CEO back in January of this year. Little did I know COVID would hit and it would reshape the way that SWAN operates. But we have been operating virtually like most organizations in the Washington, D.C. area. The purpose of our organization is to be a voice for all military women, past, present, and future. So we work with not only veterans and active duty military, reservists, National Guard. We also work with cadets and those that are entering boot camp and have not officially been sworn into the military. Our focus is a few things. I consider ourselves to be the jack of all trades. When someone goes to call us, they can call us for any reason, whether it be domestic violence, it's discrimination, racism, sexism. It could have to do with sexual assaults or homelessness. It can have to do with a plethora of things. And our organization has created a resource portal that has a verified system of organizations that have shown they're able to provide women-specific resources. When SWAN was founded back in 2009, they discovered that a lot of these VSOs, with veteran service organizations, provide male-specific services, but not necessarily women-specific services. There's a huge difference between women and men, especially when it comes to their service and their experiences. Having to deal with those that have experienced sexual assault. We have organizations that we partner with, like Goodwill, where we'll send them women that are interested in a position, and they actually have doors and entrances within their buildings so that women do not have to have any interaction with men, those that have experienced sexual assault. So those are situations where we're dealing with organizations that understand the experiences and the traumas that women have experienced within the military, and they're able to accommodate them. We also, along with our case management and our resource portal side of the house, our main driver and the main reason why SWAN was founded was based in legislation and advocacy. So we do a lot of work on Capitol Hill. Our primary focus or our legislative priorities this year has to do with reproductive health, PPE, and the Deborah Sampson Act. So I wanted to talk about the Deborah Sampson Act just quickly, because we're trying to get our allies to really be able to push their legislators to make sure that they vote for the Deborah Sampson Act as it has made it to the Senate. So just a quick dive into what the Deborah Sampson Act, it will require the VA to offer primary care for female veterans at all medical centers and clinics, and it would expand eligibility and access to counseling for female vets who have experienced sexual trauma. So as of right now, the VA does not have like gynecologists and things where they're able to provide women-specific health services in the VA. So you might have women that have to drive, 2-3 hours to be able to go and get a checkup. And that can be very impactful, especially for those that are having to get mammograms and things along those lines in terms of breast cancer prevention and things along those lines. So if you know who your senator is, if you don't, you can go to senate.gov, if I'm not mistaken, contact your senator and make sure that they vote to pass the Deborah Sampson Act. And finally, we've also ventured into the MWC, which is the Military Women's Coalition. SWAN is the chair of that organization. It's basically what we discovered last year, pre my CEO position, is that there's a lot of grassroots organizations around the country that are dedicated to women veterans. And we wanted to place them all under one umbrella, which is why the Military Women's Coalition was created. So if you do happen to know of a smaller organization or any organization that's dedicated to women veterans or women service members, members, be sure to go to militarywomen'scoalition.org, and you will be able to sign up to be a part of that coalition. If in fact you want to contact SWAN or you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, you can always go to servicewomen.org, and you can also go to Service Women's Action Network on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And I think that's all of them, not TikTok. No TikTok. Anywho, thank you all so much. Thank you, Tony and Elliot. Very happy to be a part of this, and look forward to more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deshauna. Appreciate you. Hope everybody doing good. I hope it's a lot of information that you've been gathered. We're going to keep it rolling. We have our very own Robert Pearson Jr., who is our Veteran Service Office of District of Columbia. And Robert, you can take it away.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Nice to be in front of an audience again, or at least another human being. I know the past few months have been quite difficult for a lot of folks like myself who really enjoy good energy from seeing and speaking to other folks, as Jennifer pointed out earlier. So nice to be here, and thank you, Tony. So I just wanted to give a quick briefing on what it is that I do here for the Mayor's Office of Veteran Affairs. Field any questions that you have, but in general, what we do here with the Mayor's Office of Veteran Affairs in the Service Department is we assist veterans in filing their disability claims, their education claims, healthcare claims, and make sure that everybody has all the benefits that they've earned. A couple of the different benefits that we typically apply folks for. The first and foremost one is disability compensation. So disability compensation is an award, a compensation award from the Department of Veteran Affairs for any injuries that veterans sustain while they're on active duty that are chronic in nature following their exit from service. There's three different ways that, three different components to that are really important that veterans should make sure they understand before filing any claims. The first and foremost is an in-service incident or injury, or disease for that matter, a confirmed diagnosis, and a medical nexus. Having those three elements in place before you file any disability claim is critical. The VA, if any of you have ever filed a claim and had it denied, one of those three reasons are going to be the key denials. So making sure that you have those in place before you file a claim is going to be paramount. The different ways that you can be service connected are also a good idea as to how the VA views these things. So a lot of times folks will file claims for, let's say a knee injury. They injured their knee while they were in service, they hurt it, but it's not necessarily chronic in nature. At this point in time in their life, that wouldn't necessarily be a good claim. The good claims are going to be ones that an injury happens to your knee, you come out of service, you're still having difficulties with that knee, it starts to tighten up on you, you have a lack of mobility, and your functional use in that knee is diminished. That is going to be a good claim. So you want to make sure you understand exactly what it means to have a chronic injury before submitting a claim, because VA is going to require that documentation and medical evidence to support that claim before they'll award disability compensation. Disability compensation is paid out every single month. On the first of the month, it is a non-tax benefit that you do not report as income, and it is strictly for the injuries, illnesses, or diseases that are endured by service members while they're on active duty. A lot of the common claims that we see are physical ailments, like I mentioned, with knees and other joints. One very common one is mental health conditions. Mental health conditions are really, really tricky. They come in all various forms, sizes, and different ailments. As we're sitting here talking about women veterans, one of the most prominent and it disproportionately affects women veterans are sexual assault and sexual harassment. A lot of times when these things happen, they're not reported. We know that. We know that it's common for victims to not speak up, to not say anything for fear of retribution or retaliation. So we want to make sure that those voices are heard. When a service member comes forward and says that they were sexually harassed, sexually abused, sexually assaulted, we need to make sure that we understand what the full scope of their story is. The VA is going to, in the development of a disability compensation claim, they're going to pull a service treatment records and service personnel files. And for anybody who knows somebody or anybody, God forbid, has gone through any of this, they know that there's not going to be anything in those records that are going to indicate or solidify a story that a service member went through. So the service member documenting and putting on paper exactly what happened to them so that the VA can understand the full scope of it is really the first and only opportunity the veteran is going to get to make sure that their side of the story and their setting of the narrative is there. We go through this quite often with a lot of veterans, and I work really closely with them to make sure that that narrative that they write up is not only fully comprehensive and understanding of exactly what happened to them, but kind of put it in a way that the VA understands that this is not just a sexual assault that happened. This is not just sexual harassment that happened. This was sustained issues over time that led to a mental health condition, PTSD, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be. And one of the common telltale signs that we see are women that went through this, that endured this, and you can see in their service personnel file, for instance. They were a good service member, they had good marks, they got good counseling statements, all this along the way, and then all of a sudden something happens. There's a drop-off. And oftentimes that will coincide with the events that took place, and that's where the veteran statement really kind of comes in and ties all of those things together. And we can use different pieces of evidence like that to really put together a good, solid claim that makes sure that veterans who endured these things get the rightful benefits that they're owed, and don't have to continue going on and not feeling as though that incident that happened to them was not being validated, was not being heard, especially by the Department of Veteran Affairs. They're there to make sure that those things that happen are properly adjudicated and veterans are taken care of. So that's what we do on a daily basis, is make sure that those veterans feel that their situation is not only being heard, but it's being properly compensated, just like a physical ailment of somebody who, God forbid, lost a limb or has a severe TBI. These are the same kinds of things that the VA is built to deal with. It's not anything over and above. It's not anything taking from somebody else. It is your benefit and your benefit alone, because it is your situation and your illnesses that you're having to deal with as a result of your service. So I would encourage anybody who has any disabilities that are stemming from their service, or they have questions, or they don't know if there is a service connection possibility, reach out to our office. We're happy to have that conversation. And again, I've been doing this a little over 10 years now. So I'm well versed in this. I know how the VA works, and I'm happy to have those conversations. They can be a little bit tough. They can be a little bit draining emotionally. But that, again, that's what we're here for, is to make sure that you have the support around you, to make sure that the benefits you've earned get passed on to you. The other element of this is the VA healthcare. VA healthcare is an integral part of what the VA does. There's 3 separate components to the VA, and any of you, I know I see a few familiar faces here. You probably heard this spiel from me before. There's 3 elements to the VA. There's the VBA, Veteran Benefits Administration, and those are the folks that adjudicate all your disability claims, your education, your housing claims, anything to do with cash primarily. The VHA, the Veterans Healthcare Administration, and that is anything to do with VA hospitals, VA outpatient clinics, anything to do with veterans' health and well-being. And then the last one, I recommend you stay away from them, is the National Cemetery Administration. They run all of the national cemeteries across the country, but you don't want to deal with those folks. The two that I mentioned before, the VBA and VHA, they don't deal with each other very often. The VBA, when they receive claims and they receive any kind of compensation requests, they run all of that on their own. The only time the VHA, the Veterans Healthcare Administration, comes into play are for your C&P exams, which you may have heard of before, compensation and pension exams. The only time they interact is when those requests from VBA go over to VHA, they conduct the exams, they send the opinions back, and then VBA makes a decision on your claims. But in terms of veteran health care, it has to be understood it is not insurance. Veteran health care is not insurance. If you take nothing else away from this, remember this. It is not insurance. It is a health benefit. And the reason I stress that is if you are, God forbid, in a car wreck or have another traumatic event, you are not going to a VA hospital. It doesn't matter. You could be a Medal of Honor recipient. You're not going to a veteran hospital because they don't have the capacity for that. They don't have trauma 1 level or level 1 trauma center. You're going to go to a regular hospital that can accommodate that. But in the same time, primary care, pharmacy, women's health clinics are also a very big important part of this. Any kind of blood work, maintenance, upkeep of your health care and well-being can all be administered by the VA. Especially here in DC, we have a very large, expansive VA network here in DC. You can receive any of the ongoing upkeep that you need. In terms of your healthcare benefits, you'll be placed into a primary care team. They're usually color coordinated here at the DC Medical Center. Once you're placed into a primary care team, you can also request any specialty care clinic visits that you need. So what the VA does is it operates on what's called a spoke and hub model. So the hub is going to be your primary care, and then all the spokes that go off it, like a bicycle wheel, are all the specialty clinics that you need. So in order to get to those specialty clinics, if you have back pain and want to see a physical therapist, for instance, your primary care starts here. They make the referral out to physical therapy or whoever else you need. So it's an efficient model because you can reach your primary care at any time through My Healthy Vet. You can secure a message with them, request those different appointments. You can refill your prescriptions through My Healthy Vet. You can do pretty much anything you need. You can request your medical records, anything else that you need. It is a really nice one-stop shop. But again, the differentiation between VBA and VHA is really important to understand because a lot of folks also worry about, well, I have benefits now. Are they going to be reduced if I continue going to the doctor and this and that and the other? That is not the case. Again, they don't talk to one another. It's not one system feeding into another. So if that is something that you worry about or that you've heard about before, I would caution you to quell those fears and anxiety. That is not the way the system works. Every veteran who has disability benefits from the VA has due process rights. And if they were to come and say propose to reduce you, you have those due process rights to be able to provide VA with evidence that they shouldn't reduce you. There's a number of different steps that you could do to make sure that that doesn't happen. But not to get too deep into the weeds here. The other element that I wanted to make sure that we talked about was also your education and housing. VA offers, as we know, post 9/11 GI Bill benefit. They also offer vocational rehabilitation benefits. If you are a veteran that served before 9/11, doesn't have any GI Bill benefits left, but you are a service-connected disabled veteran and you need retraining to be able to find new and ways of making a living and need to be retrained in order to do that, the VA has that program. They'll put you back through school or training that you need. They'll pay you a stipend while you're doing it, and you can receive the opportunity to get into a new career field. There's a little bit of a process in that, but I wanted to make sure to bring that to your attention. If you're interested in that, certainly get in touch with us. The other element is housing. The VA home loan is a tremendous benefit. It might be the best benefit if you ask me. It is the only mortgage product left in the United States that requires $0 down in order to purchase a home. You can receive a number of different benefits depending if you're service connected, not paying a funding fee, not paying for your appraisal, things like that. One thing like the healthcare that I mentioned, one thing to take away, it does not affect your interest rate. You must still get a funding source to give you a mortgage, to give you an interest rate. Now lenders are much more apt to give favorable rates to veterans because they have the guarantee behind them, and that's what the VA home loan benefit is. The VA home loan guarantee. It guarantees a certain number of dollars based on your service time that backs your mortgage, right? So if you take out a $500,000 mortgage and the VA backs you $150,000, that lender knows that if this veteran skips town and stops paying, I'm guaranteed that $150,000, which is well over the 20% that anybody else would come to the table with. So the lender is going to be much more apt to give you those favorable rates and give you a good loan. With all of that said, what questions? Or Tony, did you want to kind of work through the question?
Yeah, so with the questions, what we can do is you can put them in the chat box. There was a question about the Buddy Lay statement, evidence for letters and videos and things like that.
Great question.
I guess that'd be like a Board of Veteran Appeals question as far as like the evidence.
So with Buddy and Lay statements, very good question. They are very useful. The VA requires by law that any Buddy or Lay statement from a credible person must be used as weighted evidence. And what that means is that they cannot dismiss it out of hand as somebody who does not have a medical opinion. Oftentimes, like you heard me before mention, you must have a medical opinion with a medical nexus as well in order for a lot of these things to be proved. But if you had somebody who, you served, let's say, in Iraq with, and they can speak to the fact that you snored all the time, kept everybody up in the hooch, everything else, now you've been diagnosed with a sleep disorder and you're going through sleep apnea training or testing, that person can testify to the fact that I slept next to this joker and he was sawing trees all night every single day, and I can attest to the fact that he had sleeping impairments. That kind of credible lay statement, that person can put themselves where the disability had its onset. It can speak to the practicality of this is where it started. This person didn't do this before. This is where it started because their sleep disturbances began in service. That now makes this a very good claim. And that can happen for a whole range of different issues, right? So when you're out in the field and, there's not a whole lot of medical personnel around, that kind of thing, you roll your ankle real bad and have to hobble along. You don't get back for a few days and your ankle starts to feel a little bit better. It's still a little sore, but we just got back from a week out in the field. I'm not going to the medical, I'm going out to the bar, right? So now there's no medical documentation of this. Now when you go to file your claim, the VA is looking and saying, hey, we don't have any proof that this happened. Well, now your buddy statement puts that person right there where it happened. They can speak credibly to it. And now the VA's only assessment is, okay, how bad are these symptoms? And can we attest that this actually did occur, a number of years ago, and this is just, arthritis building in the joint or whatever it may be. But they are very, very useful. And if you have them, make sure to stay in touch with your buddies to make sure that you can rely on those, because they can go a long way.
All right, thank you, Robert. Robert, can you drop your information in the chat box if anyone has any questions? Offline, you can contact Robert through the information that he provides. We're gonna roll into the next speaker, which is LaQuanda Carmichael, who is with Community Connections within the Walter Reed Facility Help USA veteran residential area. I don't think we can get video from her. She's having technical difficulties on the video, but we're going to hear her on speaker. So LaQuanda, if you can hear me, give me something. A hey, a nay. Let me see. All right, LaQuanda. Stand by. All right, so I guess while LaQuanda gets it, we're gonna just move on to MOWPI. She's with She Wins Networks, one of our consults at the Mayor's Office of Veteran Affairs, and one of the key people in administrating a lot of the women events prior to my arrival, and now continuing on that. So I appreciate you, Mo, and you can have the floor.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? And thank you so much, Tony, for that introduction. And thank you all for joining us today. And thank you to the MOVA team. I mean, MOVA team, just seeing their growth and everything they're doing, they're a one-stop shop for everything that you need for veterans in general. And I just love their energy and their vibe, and they go 100% for when it comes to veterans. So definitely, if you need anything veteran related, definitely stop in the office and ask them anything, and they will definitely help you. My name is Moji Sola Edu. I am an Army veteran. I am a former homeless veteran, and also I'm an advocate for women veterans in general and an MST survivor. She Wins, our tagline is empowering women through their journey. There are a lot of veterans and women in general who are transitioning, and sometimes the transition isn't that easy. Some people have the misconception that, you get out, you already have your mindset, but you get thrown into wolves. You get thrown out there and you're trying to navigate and figure it out. And then some things you thought you really don't know. So it's great to have somebody to kind of hand carry you and walk you through the process. So she wins. And this is a tagline that's coined between me and April, is that if she wins, we all win. So in pouring in energy and love into fellow female veterans or women in general helps them grow and develop to, their highest potential. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, we always need some support, and we can't do everything ourselves. So that's what She Wins does. We provide services, resources, anything that is sent on around from the DC Mayor's office to help women veterans, we send there. We do mentorship. We have women from all diverse backgrounds that mentor the women. We encourage the women through whatever journey where they're having their wins or their downs, support them. Also, on top of that, we provide meditation along with yoga and different master classes with different people that specialize in different industries, so they can share some knowledge to help them along the way. And also, we have a conference that we do every year. We actually have seen several of our women who have grown in specific, industries, and they have taken off. And we're so proud of that. And we do a lot of support and consulting. We worked with the DC Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs the year before last and last year, creating a Women Veterans Day that was amazing. And they continue to support everything that is veteran related, women veterans in general. But before we get deep into it, the main thing I do is meditation, because, dealing with PTSD, trauma in general, our mind is so clouded with so much noise. So I try to tell the women to definitely emerge into meditation, because it's something that definitely saved my life. Whether you're dealing on the verge of committing suicide and things of that nature, using these practices can help, along with journaling. Journaling is definitely, when Robert talked about, dealing with telling your case. Sometimes journaling can help you recall some of the memories that you forgot, and even if the words seem jumbled, just writing. So some of the writing and the journaling helps through trauma. So that's why we integrate that along with helping them also with just telling their story, because a lot of these women, they lose their voice. When you're in the military, sometimes you're just a shell, you're a number, and sometimes instead of living, you're just existing. You're always on a go, go, go. So you forget yourself as a woman. So trying to bring back the femininity of the women and realizing that they are human. So before we get more into it, I want to go ahead and do a quick meditation, if that's okay with everybody, just to calm us down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and get to a quick meditation. So you have your palms up like this, and then you lay them flat on your lap, okay? And then close your eyes. And then we're going to go into a quick meditation, focusing on the breath, taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, relaxing your eyes, your shoulders, your fingers, your knees, and your feet are grounded, eliminating the noise, emptying yourself of everything going on, breathing in and out, focusing on the breath. As you take in your breath, I want you to focus on a color that makes you feel warm and relaxed. Wrap yourself in that color, breathing in and out, focusing on the breath, relaxing your body, and keeping in your mind the word calm. I am calm. I am free. I am relaxed. As you take a breath in, breathe in open. When you breathe out free, free of all the restraints, all the stress, and everything that binds you. Breathing in open and breathing out free. Relaxing your body, focusing on the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. You are pure energy, free flowing through the body, allowing energy to flow where it needs to be. Breathing in and out. Breathing in open and breathing out free. Slowly bring your awareness back to your fingers, to your shoulders, to your eyelids, and come back and open your eyes. How do you feel? Can we get some shake hands? Definitely. So those are some of the things that we do when we do presentations or do different things with the women, trying to connect with them. And then we also raise funds to help women who are homeless or kids also, and definitely kids in STEM. So anything that we can do to support the DC Mayor's Office of Veteran Affairs, we support them, women in general. That's what we do at She Wins, because if we can't do everything ourselves, and with a little bit of support, you can go a long way. So that's what I do. And thank you all for definitely joining us today and sharing in this moment, because it's definitely needed. And we love women veterans, man. Yay, the women veterans. Thank you, Tony.
Yes, yay to us. We are powerhouses out here. And many of you don't already know, I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran, always a leader, hoorah, semper fi to anybody out there that's a Marine. Sorry to the Army, that's majority of our speakers this afternoon. This Army, go strong. Okay, so we got next, Ms. Carmichael was having technical difficulties, but she did drop her information. I'm gonna give you a brief. She works for the Community Connections as a case manager within the Walter Reed facility, Help USA, that the mayor cut the ribbon on last year. It's a veteran, all veteran facility. If you need information, hoorah. If you need information on that, she has dropped her, her contact in the chat, and you can take that, and utilize it. We're running on schedule, y'all. We started a little late, but we own it. So, we're going to run right into it, and we're going to have Miss April Harris, who is with Live and utilizes theater and writing and all the awesome arts to access that mental health part of us in order to get out anything that we want to get out. She explains it better than me, so I'm gonna let Miss April Harris, that's Army for you right there. Thank you so much for your time, and take it away.
Oh, good afternoon, my amazing brothers and sisters and friends. I am telling you that the mayor's office in DC rocks. She has definitely got her six. The team is all about business. But what I want to express to my brothers and sisters is that in which she is giving us is coming at a price, and she's fighting hard for us. So if the mayor has a call. Can you hear me now? Oh, I don't have to say. Did you hear me say that the mayor's office rocks? I just wanted to say that if the mayor needs us for a call to action, that we've got her back, because the things that she is doing is coming at a price. And so we appreciate the effort and we will support her. I also want to say that Miss Porter, I don't know if I've ever met you, but your energy is amazing. I'm on cloud nine right now. But what I continue to hear is the voice piece. And so we cannot do anything without the voice. And I will tell you, my career in the military was damaging, but it was very successful. So degrees, education, I came out and was ready to get a GS-15, no doubt. Guys, I didn't have the voice. So we have excellent programs that are ready for transition, but we're missing the point that they may not be mentally or physically capable of getting to that point and utilizing those programs. So the Theater Lab in DC has a Life Stories Institute. And when I tell you it rocks and absolutely amazing, and they support veterans. They have scholarships, but they've allowed me to set up a veteran program. So we almost have carte blanche to put a program together. I would love to partner with a lot of the folks that have spoken, especially Ms. Porter. You got this, where we want to make a difference, but we have to get educated on how to do that. We got to get educated on the rules of engagement before we can go and speak for these. And I'm telling you, Life Stories Institute has done that. It's unbelievable to me, and this is a wonderful concept that I've put together, is that, you know, athletes practice so that they can get better. Why is it that we don't practice for life? So if you're transitioning and you want to make a change, let's try it on. Call us at the Theater Lab. We'll play with it. We'll mold it. We'll sculpt it. We'll look at the resources to see that you need. Let's play with it. It's a lot easier to do that than to think that I'm at this level. I'm trying to get to this level. I just can't attain it. But if you can try it on and engage it in that manner, and you're in a supportive environment with your brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, it's absolutely amazing. It's done wonders for me. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and so this is no gig to anyone, that we're starting late. We're actually playing catch up. I want to propose that we become less reactive, which in terms we have to do intervention, and we're going to be more proactive, and we can provide support. By doing that, we need to reach the veterans before they become veterans. I'm saying let's hit the recruiting stations and begin the education piece. I would like for, especially my sisters, I love my brothers, but I focus on my sisters, to see the military is not something I've got to do, but it's a career. If we think of it going in as a career and getting the education and everything, then I know when I get ready to transition, I've already started that. We're waiting way too late to start this whole transition thing. So if we can become mentors to, especially our sisters, brothers, y'all need to do your thing, and we start mentoring them at the recruiting station and giving them some support, then we won't maybe have to do the buddy letters, because if they're supported like me, they will put the information in their records and they don't have to talk as much at the end. But for those that have already gone through and they need to talk, Life Stories is available for that. We've done a phenomenal program where you can actually be in a supportive environment, tell your story, and you record it. Because a lot of our sisters don't want to tell the story over and over again. Once you have that in your possession, you play it over and over again. You don't have to relive it. It's a lot easier for me to sit next to a therapist, sit next to whomever I need to express the story to, and listen to it and engage with them, as opposed to me being triggered and having to articulate it. So it's a phenomenal program. I'm excited about what you guys are doing. Whatever the mayor needs, I'm here to support her. And I got my brothers and sisters to back me up. Contact me. I put my information in there. I'm looking forward to the partnership so we make a difference. Thank you so much for this opportunity. God bless.
Thank you so much, April Harris. Appreciate your time and everything that you do on a daily basis. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move it on. We're about to wrap it up in the next few minutes. We have Melwood with us. We have Brooksy and Travis. I don't know which one want to talk or speak on this, but you guys have the floor. And thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate that.
Hey, thanks, Tony. So Brooksy actually had to step off. She had at 1 o'clock, so I'm going to take both sides here. So with Melwood Veteran Services, first thing we'll talk about is Operation Tahidu. It's a free 5-day program for veterans or service members that have been diagnosed with or were self-identifying post-traumatic stress, mild TBI, anxiety, depression, moral injury, or military sexual trauma. This program is open to veterans of all eras and most discharge statuses. If somebody has a bad conduct discharge or dishonorable, we're going to need to have a discussion on why that happened. Basically, bottom line, no axe murderers. Program is located in Southern Maryland, and it's about 40 minutes south of National Harbor. So Brigadier General Dave Blackledge, U.S. Army, retired. He took over Melwood Veteran Services in January 2017. Under his leadership, MVS is involved in the program for MST survivors. Our pilot MST program ran in November 2017 and we've held at least a dozen since then. Since that time, we've had almost 2,000 veterans, service members, and significant others apply to attend. 60% of the veterans that apply are women. For those of you on the call, you know that that's not the way veteran statistics are right now. It's more like 85 to 90% are men and 10 to 15% are women. In addition to because we have that many women applying to the program, we run significantly more women's programs. I mean, it's just, the way it needs to be. In addition to our in-person retreats, we're also running a virtual program. That was our adaptation for COVID. It's a 6-week-long program with one group session a week, a video they need to watch, some individual exercises. It's a commitment of 2 to 3 hours per week. We have the 5th one of these starting next week, and they will be resuming after the first of the year. Bottom line, we've been running 2 at a time, and our facilitators are they need a break, and the holidays are coming up, so we'll hit it hard. After this one, we'll hit it hard again in January. So Tehidu, what is that? It's a Cherokee word that means peace of mind, body, and spirit. This retreats continue to promote peace with the past through power in the present for hundreds of veterans each year. So that's our main program and our flagship program. Right now, due to COVID, we're limiting this veterans that attend to within the 5-state region around Maryland. So Maryland, DC, Delaware, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. So basically bottom line, folks within a 3-hour driving radius. As things, that's the way it's going to be for our in-person November and December retreats. We'll assess the situation as it continues to evolve. Same way we have been the whole year. In addition to Operation TDU, Melwood Veteran Services also has vets ready to work. What this is not a large-scale staffing agency. There's other organizations that are out there doing that and doing it very well. But we do have jobs for veterans. Our parent nonprofit, Melwood, has 61 contracts across the DC area, and our HR department's asked MVS to help veterans fill these jobs. So if you do have veterans that are looking for work, we can put them in jobs, bottom line. We're also looking to assist companies in job retention, maintaining and retaining the veterans that they have on staff already. We definitely assist with that. Please reach out, and we would love to help you. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you so much, Travis. I always got the good stuff. Okay, we're about to wrap it up with not last, but awesomely, just the last person on the list. It's Miss Kay Watson from Your Next Stage. Take the floor, Miss Kate. You got it. Hey, Kate, can you unmute yourself? They won't let you do it.
Are you talking to me? There we go. There we go. Are we unmuted?
Okay, good. Okay, cool.
Okay. I'm sorry, folks, for that blurb. All right. Very briefly, what we have here is the Women Veterans Needs Assessment that is coming out of the University of Alabama. Its time schedule has been slightly delayed. It will be out before Thanksgiving. It is imperative that everybody in the DC community who touches a woman who may be a vet but not self-identify, a vet who may know a woman who doesn't self-identify. We need massive distribution. I'm going to walk through this very quickly. The team, for those of you who follow women veterans, I don't know if Deshauna is on here, but we share Kate Hendricks Thomas. Deshauna should know who she is. She's also local. It's an interesting team because it's interdisciplinary and it is inter-university. It doesn't happen very often in the academic community. These are a completely volunteer initiative. These guys have been working since April on this initiative. Status, I got it this morning. Just to make sure you all know it's real. This is from Dr. Hamner, who is the head of the study at the University of Alabama. I'm happy to share all of this with you. I'm in touch with Dr. Hamner at least weekly. The goal here for us right here, the most important thing here is that the DC community, the area that YourNextStage believes is its pilot community, is the first one teed up. And I will need to be working with others because my brain is only this big and our collective brains are this big to identify the community that we want surveyed. We are priority one for the University of Alabama. It's because they've been at my side for over.
Excuse me, Kay, I'm sorry. We can't see this. We can't see the screen that you're sharing.
Oh, beans.
Yeah, just a gray area.
All right, let's see. Share again. All right, let's try this. Are you getting it now? Yay, sorry. Gray hair does terrible things to a human being. Don't get it. It sucks your brains out, as do children. So here's the team. I'm happy to share this with anybody that wants it. Just drop me a note. You got to send it to me by email because you can't copy things out of the chat box. They are all from different universities. Many of you would know Kayla Williams' name if you're in the women veteran space. Kayla was the head of the Women's Center at the VA through the Obama administration. This is the note that's most important. Again, University of Alabama has been working with us for over almost 3 years now. They've dried a lot of tears on my part and continue to push us forward. It's coming. They had a series of crises on a voluntary team, but again, this is a totally voluntary initiative. I know because I priced needs assessments. If we were to have had to pay for this work, it's $500,000. That's what that needs assessment would cost if it was in the market. These are all the areas that we expect the needs assessment to include, and it is not limited to that. We know they have a question in there on COVID. When we have the go-ahead from U of A, those of you who are on the email distribution list, and you will see this coming up, will be getting a letter directly from UA that tells you what's in the needs assessment and providing you with the hyperlink and a URL code. So you can send it to everybody, everywhere. We are looking for statistically relevant data. This will be an IRB exempt study because there is no data that is being gathered that can go back to a given individual. The whole thing has been designed to be blind. The other thing that will follow this is that there is, in the dropdown as you go through the needs assessment, there will be an opportunity for those women in the DMV region who would like to contribute to a qualitative assessment to be contacted by a University of Alabama doctoral student who will be doing qualitative interviews of women veterans. We need all of your help. Those are conversations, and that's totally voluntary. So this is where we stand, and this is why that's important right now. I have been building this file forever. We've got several major players out there who are helping us, including Code of Support. They have 15,000 veteran organizations in their network. This is instructive. I did a quick sort on this database, which is not yet complete. I'm sorting it by state. DC, so the mayor's office, Tony Gang. The University of Alabama will be providing the district with its own assessment report. They will also be providing it to Maryland and Virginia. And because we bridge, I think I'll have more. This is important. This is why this, okay, so if you look at this list, you're going to see Alabama, California, Colorado, DC. Guys, I need DC to be that big. And we're not just DC. I know I'm dealing with the mayor's office, but you know, those geographic boundaries. Here's Maryland. Anybody on this call from Maryland? I need to know you're there. I need to make sure we've got this in your hands. Virginia. I used to work, there's Virginia, and it continues to grow. I have more to blend in. So that's where it stands. I now have at least one more week, thank God, to continue to build out this list. It's really important, Jennifer, I'm watching you smile. It is so important that this get into the hands of every woman. And Tony, you know this. There are so many women who served in the military that do not rightfully wear the label veteran. And we are not here to force them to wear that label. We are only here to identify what they need and to come up with the best way to serve it. And I will remind all of you that if we do it well within our community, it doesn't land on the tax rolls of your community. Jennifer, I can't think of any better picture of what these women need to inform the mayor's office's budgeting process. Let's go wide and deep, people. So that's my pitch. It's coming. It should be out before Thanksgiving. For those of you who want to contact me, Tony knows how to find me all sorts of ways, and she's probably regretting it.
Oh, no. So we're going to wrap it up with that, but we do have your information from the resource information sheets that we provide post roundtables. Guys, I just want to say thank you for coming. We're going to have Mr. Sherrod Wade, our Director of Operations, to close us out. Any questions or concerns you may have, you can always contact me at tony.williams@dc.gov. I will place my information in the chat box. And Sherrod Wade, you can take it away.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Tony. To everyone that's on the call, thank you for your time today. Just want to give a quick recap and a few updates on events that MOVA has coming up, or just the veteran community has coming up within the next 30 days. Special appreciation to Director Porter and MOWPI for all that you guys do, the women's policy, the general information going out to the community, as well as the expanded pink tax. Listen, as a husband and father of 4 daughters, yes, thank you guys for everything that you do. And another thing for everyone here, for the men, Mr. Love, and everyone I see on the cameras that just support our women veterans, it's truly, right? There's no progress without support from the other side of the aisle. In this case, from our LGBTQ, our men, and everyone else that identifies other than a woman veteran. So thank you guys for everything that you're doing out there in the trenches. To Swan, and for the connecting and the advocacy that you guys assist not only our municipality, but the federal Department of Veteran Affairs would greatly appreciate you guys for being allies and supporters of MOVA and women veterans and veterans in general. Robert, one of the backbones of our office, hardly seen but always working. Thank you for sharing that information. Just a true warrior out here in these veteran trenches. She wins. It says if she wins, but I always say when she wins. Even with the fair wage and pay gap, working. It's a good reminder to say, you know what, slow down. Even though you're not leaving your house, slow down. Thank you, for the reminder that we're not heard. And often, especially what I notice from women, mothers, and really veterans in general, anyone that has a heart of service, you put yourself last a lot, right? We all generally put ourselves last, and oftentimes your voice can it can go missing. Because that selfless nature in you allows you to just say, you know what, I'm good, all the way until you're not. For Melwood, for Travis, Brooksy, and the team, Operation, thank you guys for being who you are, right? Everyone knows who Melwood is. Thank you, can't do it enough without you. And to University of Alabama, Kate, for, just the National Women Veterans Needs Assessment. Please, when you guys see that information assessment, because that's definitely going to tremendously benefit our women veteran community. So coming up on November 2nd through 6th, for those of you with an interest in all things related to small business like myself, is National Veteran Small Business Week. MOVA will email an events calendar or in our upcoming newsletter the full schedule of events that are taking place in our administration. The theme for this year, they change the theme every year, but this one is focused on veteran business resources in the local community. November 12th, same time, same channel, we're going to do this again, but it's going to be in partnership with the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs, and we'll be hosting the LGBTQ DC Veterans Roundtable. So we invite everyone to, save the link that you logged in. It will be the same credentials to join us on November 12th at 12 p.m. for that event. And again, I'm going to wrap it up with that, but just want to say thank you guys for your time. Tony, thank you for coordinating this wonderful slate of panelists, for everyone that gave us your undivided attention during the midst of we are appreciative of everything that you guys are doing, and I want to say enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you guys. On behalf of Mayor Bowser, thank you for your time. Tony?
Adios. Thank you all so much for your support and everything that you do. Have a good one.